That's understandable, sir.
These little boys and girls
Snot-nosed, every one of them.
fooled you into thinking they were all dead in a fire. Is that right?
Well, sir, I watched the footage. I saw the obituary. I watched the funeral footage. I bought into it like the rest of America. Yeah, I admit. Convicted. Guilty.
And in fact, in reality, if you'll pardon the expression, they are all alive.
Every last one of them, sir. Apparently, yeah. Every last one of them. Yeah. It turns out they faked it all. To induce us with fraudulent intent to air and broadcast their
That's the word. That's the word. Fraudulence.
Yep.
They made a fool of you, and you made a fool of me. It took me long for the humiliation.
Sir, I did
and
not.
The money.
Well, the money, I do admit, was an incentive, but I did not mean for it to reflect poorly upon you, upon the company and corporation of Comcast or NBC or Universal or any
But it did, boy. It did. It surely did. I am humiliated. I may even be ruined.
Sir, I would like to draw your attention to the silver lining.
You are so lucky. I am not a shooting man.
Except when it's duck season, you're going hunting today. I mean, Now,
except for ducks.
No one had actually died, even the boy that committed
suicide. Except for the fraud, of course.
Well, certainly is a fraud, and I'm not saying there ain't a crime.
And the victim.
Throw away the key. I could care less, but as long as I can film them throwing out the key, that's all I care about, so I get my 10%. So I want you to consider the following. Even the boy that jumped off the building, the black boy, the gentleman, the singer, the singer.
Oh, yes.
Even that corpse was fake. They had taken cadavers out of the lockers like slabs of meat from the deli. And they put them in that house out there, and they had that party. They had them literally downstairs in the basement on ice during the party. Then at the end of the party, they positioned them out throughout the house. They put them clothes on them that they're wearing, all those, the girls with those tight little dresses, and those boys with those fancy shirts and suits and those ascots that they were wearing. And they put them on those things so they'd be found with their body and people would assume it was them. It was all a bunch of bullshit. They had thought this thing out for a year going forward. I don't know who the mastermind is, but someone is some evil doctor, evil genius in the group there, because I don't know what, dying between homework and getting laid. I don't know how anyone thinks about that at 22 years old. But hey.
Diabolical.
It is
That's the only word for it.
It's like Lex Luthor level diabolical. They had filmed themselves not only at the party where they allegedly died, but in anticipation of this very day where they will be caught. They filmed themselves in the island where they were all living, real world style, all together in one home. Turns out that they had this huge mansion on one of the little islands, and everything was filmed. So we got ourselves a season 2 and 3. We'll make season 2 the island, season 3 the trial, season 4 we'll put it in their jail cells. We got them for the rest of their lives to do their lives. So sorry, it's a bad day for PR. I swear it is a bad day. God damn it. You put that Confederate flag at half-mast. I swear, I recognize it.
We know where they are.
Well, you know what? I got the feelers out right now, and I got an investigator. And I got the investigator who's found me the filmmaker. Now, when I talk to that filmmaker who's coming in here right here today, he's going to come in here right here now. I got to talk to this attorney. He comes in here, and I get some answers out of that boy, and I'm going to get that jet, and I'm going to fly down, and I know they're in the island somewhere, because I got an IP address when I got one of these suspicious emails that was leaked to me by one of them disgruntled, types of down. So it turns out there was an internal rift from the group inside. Turns out that paradise was not found south in the islands as they thought it would be. They got the money. They were getting those checks from charities. They had insurance on all their lives, plus the building that went down in flames. They had all the money in the world. Turns out they couldn't live together. They couldn't live together. And get this, here's another silver lining. I found out through my particular sources and sources of information that may be confidential, that they had filmed themselves not only at the party where they allegedly died, but in anticipation of this very day where they will be caught. They filmed themselves in the island where they were all living, real world style, all together in one home. Turns out that they had this huge mansion on one of the little islands, and everything was filmed. So we got ourselves a season 2 and 3. We'll make season 2 the island, season 3 the trial, season 4 we'll put it in their jail cells. We got them for the rest of their lives to do their lives. So sorry, it's a bad day for PR. I swear it is a bad day. God damn it. You put that Confederate flag at half-mast. I swear, I recognize that. But I tell you, so I hear
It's humiliating, but also intriguing.
It's a bit intriguing, and the most intriguing thing about it, like I said, is season 2 and 3. If I get my hands on that filmmaker today, which about an hour I'm gonna meet that boy, he gives me a solid lead. I'll get on that plane, I'll go see those kids, and not only will I get an acquisition of that footage in return for probably providing them with counsel for their defense, and perhaps in the intervening in some of the district attorney's negotiations for plea bargains, but I will get their rights. I'll bring the contracts down here with me. I got my secretary right now drawing them up right now.
Pretending just for a moment that I'm a ordinary man and not a very rich, not so ordinary man.
So that is impossible for me to imagine, but continue. I will
I would be strongly tempted to watch such a show, I think.
You would be tempted to see what occurred on the island.
I believe I would become hooked on such a show, and I would watch that show. I believe.
No one had actually died, even the boy that committed
suicide. Except for the fraud, of course.
Oh, it certainly is a fraud, and I'm not saying there ain't a crime.
And the victim.
Throw away the key. I could care less, but as long as I can film him throwing out the key, that's all I care about, so I can get my 10%. So I want you to consider the following. Even the boy that jumped off the building, you know, the black boy, the gentleman, the singer.
Oh, yes.
Even that corpse was fake. They had taken cadavers out of the lockers like slabs of meat from the deli, and they put them in that house out there, and they had that party. They had them literally downstairs in the basement on ice during the party. Then at the end of the party, they positioned them out throughout the house. They put them clothes on them that they're wearing, all those, you know, the girls with those tight little dresses, and those boys with those fancy shirts and suits, and those ascots that they were wearing. And they put them on those things so they'd be found with their body, and people would assume it was them. It was all a bunch of bullshit. They had thought this thing out for a year going forward. I don't know who the mastermind is, but someone is some evil doctor, evil genius in the group there, because I don't know what. Dang, between homework and getting laid, I don't know how anyone thinks about that at 22 years old. But hey.
Diabolical.
It is
That's the only word for it.
It's like Lex Luthor level diabolical. Damn. But I tell you, so I hear it.
It's humiliating, but also intriguing.
It's a bit intriguing, and the most intriguing thing about it, like I said, is season 2 and 3. If I get my hands on that filmmaker today, which about an hour I'm gonna meet that boy, he gives me a solid lead. I'll get on that plane, I'll go see those kids, and not only will I get an acquisition of that footage in return for probably providing them with counsel.
That is the curious part of this whole story.
It is curious. Won't you? I am dying to hear out of the mouth of these babes, because that's what it is, out of the mouth of babes, the truth of how they came to this, what brought them to this. Why not just go get a goddamn job, meet a nice girl, settle down, get a house and a dog and a white picket fence? I mean, is that so wrong? I mean, what is it? Well, what's all these kids wanting fame and fortune and wanting to be on the cover of People, and it's a disease. It's crazy. I mean, this whole
moral
I got the Bible in my hand right now. I'm telling you, I was reading scripture. What you call it? Thinking about getting the rights to that particular work, but then I heard it was a public domain apparently. The Bible, because it was written by God. He doesn't.
One problem at a time.
But you know that God's not even represented. You know, you think he'd be with William Moss by now, but it's amazing they haven't gotten them. It's on. Okay, I need you to take a pen and pencil, all right, and do the following things for me, okay? Mr. Brian's going to be calling me all morning, all right? I want you to put him off. I want you to tell him that my grandmama died, my mother died, my cousins. Tell him the whole family. I can't talk to him right now. And get that detective, that private. I need you to do some research, and we have to figure out from where those FedExes came. Okay, we got to track down that boy who sent me that email saying that he was the filmmaker. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I need to get a meeting with him today. Because when I talk to Mr. Bryan, and he's going to be pissed off to high hell, you understand the severity of the situation. Anyone that calls, you disavow all knowledge. We are not commenting, except to say that we had no knowledge of impropriety associated with this production at all. We thought it was honest to God, awful truth. It was the straight scoop. That was the real lives. They had actually perished in those fires. That this was not some publicity, marketing, crazy ass Blair Witch kind of stunt. Hell, I ain't that sophisticated. It was all just happenstance and hoodwinkling and the wool over my eyes and all that other shit. So just whatever you have to say, just we didn't do this, and that's damn truth. You know that because you've been. How long you been with me now? What? So you've been with me since that. In fact, it was 2 weeks you've been working here. That those packages started coming in here. Remember that? Well, we didn't even look at them until the FBI boys got them. When we did look at them, well, we saw the footage and and then that went and sold it to Comcast, and next thing you know, the numbers went off through the roof. One of the kids that died, this is a daddy. He was a very powerful man. He was a South Carolina senator, actually. And he got those FBI boys involved, and they did the tracking down and talking to everyone. They found out that a couple people actually left the party that wasn't aware that they'd actually put too many bodies, well, it turns out what they did was they took cadavers and they put them in there. They were the same age and racial composition. They put damn clothes on them and the whole 9 yards, and then they saw that fire. They actually watched the damn fire from the cover of the woods, but suffice it to say that the whole thing was a scam, sham, flim-flam to the man. And I don't know why they did it, except made me sell some advertising on a television show, because I certainly know how to tell us. I can sell a TV show. So I sold Snooki for MTV. You don't need no trick or device or gimmick, but I guess these boys and girls did. They thought they did. So anyway, it ain't no here nor there. But at this time, what we need to do is I need to speak with that filmmaker right away, because it looks like what I found out was these boys and girls are all alive, and they're in some island sitting there drinking pina coladas and enjoying the sun, and laughing all the way to the bank in the Cayman Islands, I guess, because it turns out not only are they getting the money from this TV show deal that I cut for them unknowingly, thinking that I was cutting it for the blind trust established for the families that were remaining, turns out that they were controlling it the whole time. Even the charities were false. Everything was bullshit. I got my 10%, so I was compensated. But the fact is that those millions and millions of dollars were flowing down to the south in one of these little Virgin Islands, where they were all sitting there in a house together, where it turns out, from my source, that they had filmed all of that as well. So while it is a bit of a pickle we find ourselves in, if I do work the angles right, I do think that I can get a second season from NBC Universal Comcast. Yeah. So apparently they filmed everything that went down in those islands, and it was one of them girls that the girl that did, she wasn't getting along with anybody during the actual party, and you see the way this whole thing went down is. Besides the heat I was getting from the FBI, because they thought I was behind the whole damn thing. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. All I did was got the footage, and I looked at it, and then I tried to sell it to Comcast, and we made a deal. And that was a sell. I think I watched 4 minutes of that damn footage. I watched that trailer that they put together, and then I sold the damn thing to Robert Bryan, and that was it. Literally, we went duck hunting, and I sold them while we were duck hunting. Turns out that right after the whole thing blew up and, was getting really big in Europe and was getting ready for this American debut, well, there was something leaked to the press. It was a piece of footage, like an outtake. And it was all these kids at the party, and they were all talking different. And then at the end of this footage, they actually are talking about, the word movie comes up, like they're actors or something. Like they actually talk about making a movie. So you put that next to all this footage, and you realize that these kids aren't graduating from no college. These kids are actors, professional actors. That's why I was so damn convinced. You got some talent, I'll admit, but, I guess they don't realize it's a felony to take it this far. Fiction is one thing, and artistic license is another. And then going into jail, I know about law, but maybe it's illegal. Damn it, I don't even know. They got this Paranormal Activity, most powerful little film ever made, and they want you to think it's real, and this whole reality is fake. Look, I ain't in it for that. I'm in it for the 10%. I just got one thing to say. There's a one silver lining to all this is I get a hold of that filmmaker, and I get him to sign for these next seasons. I get the season of them down, and all the fractured relationships and strained reliances and survivor-like coincidences and all these things and dramas and conflicts that I'm sure that occurred